So finally, everybody, lawmakers are getting serious about a fourth stimulus check. All details of the next crisis relief proposal have been revealed. Checks worth up to $800 will begin going out to everybody that's eligible for them. So, breaking news, California Governor Gavin Newsom released details today of his gas rebate proposal that was first announced during the State of the State address in early March. The proposal would use $9 billion in tax refunds to help offset skyrocketing gas prices in California. Vehicle owners could get $400 per registered vehicle, but only up to two per person. And according to AAA, regular grade gas is in a state record of $5.88 per gallon in California. So for people who don't have cars, Newsom has said that he wants the state to pay for the bus or train fare for 3 months. His proposal would give $750 million to transit and rail agencies, which Newsom said people would have a chance to give free rides for 3 million people per day. In the official statement, the governor said that direct relief will address this issue that we all are struggling to address, and that's an issue of gas prices in our state, but of course all across this country. This direct relief is on top of the $10 billion plus we've distributed over the last year with a Golden State stimulus. So Newsom's plan, everybody, must be approved by the legislature. Democratic leaders already have said that they don't support any proposal to temporarily halt an increase in the state's gas tax. There are also many Democrats that don't like the idea of giving money to everybody. Right now, the proposal does not have an income requirement, and eligibility for the proposal will be based on vehicle registration, not tax records. So friends, throughout the US, more than 41.5 million Americans receive SNAP benefits every month. You must apply for SNAP in a state in which you live and meet certain bank balance limits, and the total amount of SNAP benefits your household gets each month is called an allotment. SNAP households are expected to spend about 30% of their own resources on food. The USDA says the maximum monthly allotment is based on household size. For instance, a family of 4, the maximum allotment is $835. Each state has a different application form and process. Also, everybody, it's important to remember that benefits are paid on a specific day each month, depending on your state.
Senator Toomey. Is Senator Toomey here virtually? All right, Senator, I have on the Republican side Senator Scott next. Senator Romney. All right, in that case, Senator Romney.
Thank you, Director. Appreciate your being here. That button, but I'm going to come over to this point. This is a slide. I don't know whether you see this, Mr. Chairman. I'm sure you have and other members have. This shows the debt held by the public. It's not total debt. This is debt held by the public in our country. Historically, going back to 1900 and where we are today. And we're approximately, the debt held by the public is approximately 100% of the GDP of the country. The last two countries that got into real trouble and had a almost collapse of their currency and their debt were Greece and Italy. Greece reached almost the same number, about 105, and Italy about 108 or 9, and percent of GDP. If you look at the budget that you've provided to us, you take us to 200% debt as a percentage of the GDP. Now, I don't know what you all believe that does. I'm just going to make sure the chairman also gets a chance to see that, which is that here's the level of debt that Italy had. Greece has begun into financial distress. We're at 100% of GDP right now. According to this budget, we get to 200% of the GDP of our debt held by the public. Now, I'm a financial guy, and I know that if something like that happens, there will be economic calamity. People will stop loaning money to the United States. Interest rates will go through the roof. We're not talking about going up to 2, 3, 4, 5%. We're going up to like what happened in Greece and Italy. So at some point, there's a dramatic departure from what we've all experienced. I don't know what that point is. I ask financial people who really are more financial than myself, where does it happen? When is it that we hit the cliff? Do you have a sense of what level of debt you just can't go beyond as a percentage of GDP, debt held by the public? Do you have a sense of what that is?
And Senator, if I can, what I have is the percentage of GDP is about 106% in the 2032. So I just wanted to start with the difference in a fact here.
This goes out to 2050.
Our budget goes to 2032.
Yeah, and the CBO takes it all the way out.
We believe the way to look at debt is what it costs to service the debt. We believe that remains at a historic low rate and doesn't crowd out other investments, so we don't end up in the same situation you saw in other countries.
I see. So you just look at how much it costs, and if the interest
To
rates are
service the
low,
debt.
To service the debt. So what would you have said to every other country that's gotten to this level that's had an economic collapse? That they were just wrong? See, what happens is when people are afraid you can't pay back the debt because of how high it is as a percentage of your economy, they start asking for a higher interest rate. And when they do so, the amount you're having to spend to service the debt gets to be backbreaking. Every major civilization that's gone down this path has ended up having their currency no longer become the reserve currency of the world and have economic collapse. We simply cannot continue on a road of adding $1 trillion of debt every year. Let me look at the other slide. It's probably behind me. Oh, there it is. My colleague is behind me. I'm just looking at, every single year in your 10-year forecast, you're showing deficits of over $1 trillion a year. I don't know how, when the economy is doing well, we can keep adding $1 trillion a year to the debt without at some point
Nancy Pelosi and other lawmakers in the House have already passed a funding bill that is going to prevent a government shutdown later this month, sending the measure to the Senate. The bill approved by the House would keep the government running at current levels through March 11th, and Chuck Schumer said he plans to vote on the spending bill quickly and in time. Congress in recent years has often failed to pass full-year appropriations bills, bouncing between last-minute and short-term legislative efforts to keep the government funding. Lapses in funding can lead to furloughs of federal workers and disruptions in the economy. Yes, lawmakers are coming very close to a new deadline. It's going to send out more financial relief to the people. Nancy Pelosi, progressive lawmakers have announced that they want to give the next stimulus relief bill passed in just a very few couple of weeks. Democrats have used the budget reconciliation process once again. And remember, everybody, the whole goal of this channel is to provide you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check information. I want to make sure that every member of my community receives the much-needed stimulus checks that everybody needs. So there are some big new developments on the next round of payments. And according to the Hill, caucus leaders are urging that a Democrat-controlled Senate pass President Biden's Build Back Better package sooner than later. This group of lawmakers have said that the timing would give President Biden a much-needed opportunity to announce a major accomplishment during a State of the Union. In an official statement, Pramila Jayapal said, "In the months since negotiations began around the Build Back Better, the case for the legislation has only become more urgent. There is agreement among the Senate Democrats on significant parts of this bill. Climate action, the care economy, and taking on prescription prices and lowering